sports break the mold, chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time. No limits, no change, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. No limits, no chains, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. Every shot's a story, every cheer's a spark. Under the lights we make our mark. Beyond the scoreboard, beyond the lines. Out of the box, redefining the grind. The grind. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? You already know it is Monday night. It is Monday Night Football Preview. My name is Paul Spencer on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Well, what an action-packed weekend we had this week, and a couple upsets, possibly, the way you want to call it. A couple, nail biters, couple overtime wins, a lot of special teams play this weekend. I tell you what, it was pretty insane, watching some teams in the second half just flip the script, and maybe even in the fourth quarter where we've seen a couple special teams block kicks. One block kick turns into a touchdown, to the house by a 999-pound, defensive tackle named Jordan Davis for the Eagles. But hey, that's past and over with, man. We are on Monday Night Football tonight, and it is time to talk Monday Night Football preview. Tonight, both teams coming in 1-1. Detroit Lions coming off fresh off of a huge beating in the division of, the Chicago Bears. Hated, the Ben Johnson revenge game didn't turn out very well for Ben Johnson. 52-21, Lions prevailed on that game. Also, on the other side of the field, the home team tonight, the Baltimore Ravens, coming off another shellacking against the Cleveland Browns, 41-17. So both teams coming in fresh, didn't have to play their starters until, in the fourth quarter. But the Lions basically played everybody till the fat lady started singing, put it that way. So, both teams are still fresh coming in tonight. A couple key injuries tonight. The one big one to me is for the Ravens. Kyle Van Noy is going to be out tonight. They said he could have played, but it's a coach's decision to have him out, which I agree with it. He's one of the best linebackers they have, a veteran journeyman there. So I feel that he should be out. That is a coach's decision. It's just kind of concerning that this is the game that the coach holds him out. Let's go over some injuries as well on the offensive side of the ball for the Lions. Not really a lot of people going to be out tonight. Most of the guys are going to be on a backup list. They're going to be inactive tonight. You have Mike Frazier out. Kinsley Gukabon is going to be out. Ja'Cory Jones is IR. Justin Heron is IR. Kobe Sanderell, he's on IR. Craig Reynolds is the biggest one that's going to be on inactive tonight. He is the third back behind Montgomery and Gibbs, so not really a big difference maker there. The only other one that I could see is Miles Frazier is going to be out as well. He is the backup left guard to Christian Mahogany. So, I mean, if there's any kind of rotation issues there with Mahaga, I don't see there is on the left side of the guard there. That's going to be the only inactive for the Lions as well on the offense. Now, they do have their backup left tackle, Makai Wingo and Am McNeil. Both guys are going to be out tonight for the Detroit Lions, defensive side of the ball on the tackle side. So they are light behind Tyleek Williams there. Also, Malcolm Rodriguez, he's a third depth chart back as a wide linebacker outside there. He's going to be backing up Dwoski and Alex Anzalone. So it's not really a big deal. Behind Brian Branch, you have Thomas Harper is going to be out as well. That's a coach's decision. They said he could have played, but they're holding him out as a coach's decision, which is kind of surprising because really they're kind of less back there in the back end. He's going to be backing up Brian Branch. On the Baltimore side, not really a lot of people as well. Like I said, the big one was going to be Kyle Van Noy, coach's decision to hold him out inactive as well. Kind of surprising that he's going to be out of the game tonight. I thought he would definitely play. It was a game time decision. They released that probably about an hour ago that he is going to be out for coach's decision. On the offensive side of the ball, not really big situation here. Patrick Ricard, a fullback, but when you have a 250-pound running back like King Henry, you're really not going to need that as well. So the fullback's not really going to be a big key into play here. Maybe like a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, but you can always put someone in the backfield, just for Patrick Ricard there as well. Isaiah Likely is going to be out, their second tight end. He's going to be out. Mark Andrews will be starting, of course. You have Charlie Kolar stepping into the 2 spot. Dayton Wade is going to be on IR, of course. And the other 2 guys that you have there, kind of surprising, behind Daniel Falali, Emory Jones out of LSU, big all right guard. He's going to be out tonight too. Carson Vinson, he's going to be out too behind Rosengarten. So the backups on the right side of the offensive line are going to be a little bit limited tonight. Defense side of the ball, you do have their starting left defensive end is going to be out. Namandi Makabuki, he's going to be out tonight. So most likely Aeneas Peoples is going to be stepping into that situation. Like I said, Kyle Van Noy is going to be out. But, I mean, Mike Green, solid linebacker. Mike Green, you guys remember his name, a draft pick from the last year's draft that dropped all the way down late, so late, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Felt like he was never going to get drafted. Mike Green, huge player. I finally gets his stepping role in that linebacker spot. Can also move down to the defensive end too to get a nice pass rush. So I'm kind of curious to see how the kid's going to play. Mike Green, a lot of NFL teams passed on him. So tonight his time to shine. Going in this game here, like I said, the Lions coming off a huge shellacking with the Bears last week, 52-17. They really didn't have to play the 3rd and 4th quarter. They were so far ahead, but Dan Campbell, man, he wanted to put a beating on Ben Johnson, his former OC. So they played the entire 4th quarter. But you look at last week, Goff, man, 339 yards. Okay, 5 TDs through the air. Also, the running game. We know what Detroit is. They're speed. They're fast. You can't tackle what you can't catch. That's the Detroit Lions. They're loaded. Last week they had 177 yards on the ground. Montgomery had 1 TD. Of course, Gibbs had a TD too, with 5 TDs by Goff. So, and then you look at the Ravens last week, 41-17 over the Browns. They did what they had to do. They pulled the starters in the 4th quarter. You really didn't have to play them as well. But we know the Baltimore Ravens. They're a 2-headed monster in the backfield. Lamar Jackson, of course, Derrick Henry. You got to stop those 2 guys. The question is, can you? First 2 weeks and Ravens scoring wise, 41 points, 40 against the Bills, and 41 against the Cleveland Browns. 2 great defense, and you're still putting up 40 points on both these teams. So it's kind of that situation where can you stop the Baltimore Ravens? Can you stop Lamar Jackson? Easier said than done. You might take away Zay Flowers on the offensive side of the ball, but then you got to deal with 8 in the box versus King Henry there. And also if you contain him on the inside, the man outside can get out there. Lamar Jackson, all out speed. Doesn't like to run. He doesn't like to show it, but when he needs to do it, he does it. So let's get into the offensive side of the ball here. Detroit Lions, man, loaded. Jared Goff at quarterback. We know what he does. I mean, like I said last week, 334 yards, 5 TDs through the air last week against the Chicago Bears. Jamar Gibbs, David Montgomery. What a 1-2 solid punch. I like to call this thunder and lightning. Jamar Gibbs, when he came out of Alabama, everybody said he's a little bit too small to play in the NFL. Well, you know what? There's a difference between you can't tackle what you can't catch. And this guy runs between tackles like it's like nobody's business. This kid's insane. I love the running back situation here. Gibbs and Montgomery. You go stay on the offside of the ball. You have Amon St. Brown, Isaac Tesla. This guy He's just showing out too. Also, Jameis Williams, finally the speedster's back. After his suspension, he's back. Then you got Khalif Raymond, three solid wide receivers here, and Tesla coming in as the fourth, and you have Dominic Loveland as well coming as their fifth wide receiver. This team can actually go 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide if you wanted to. Throw those wide receivers in there, pick your poison. A lot of times they do go 4 wide, and they put Gibbs in the slot as well. Being that safety check, because he can be that slot guy that's taking you across the slants, or he can take you vertical, which they don't really use unless it's a wheel route. And that's something you always have to have, a nickel guy on Jamar Gibbs, because a straight up linebacker cannot cover the wheel route coming out with Jamar Gibbs. Then you look at tight end here, Sam Laporta. Man, something about Iowa tight ends, man. It's just something that's becoming, tight end you. You look at all these guys coming out of Iowa, tight end university, Sam Laporta, great solid, pick up there as well. I feel that Brock Wright's going to be there as well. He's a great solid number 2 tight end. I don't think they go to a 12 personnel, honestly. I think that Jared Goff's just going to try to spread this team around, because the Ravens defense is not a slouch defense. They are high flyers, 11 hats on a ball. So I think Goff, and I really think that they're just going to spread the ball out here and just go, sideline to sideline and make the Baltimore Ravens, try to catch you, in a coverage press where they're at. Then you go to the offensive line here. The solid offensive line here. Really the only person they lost last year was Skipper, of course. You guys remember that, ineligible man checking in there. We all know Dan Skipper from that one. But you look at Taylor Decker, a solid guy. Chris Mahogany as well at left guard. Glass now, I love how he plays. Tate Ratledge, and then, of course, you have all-world Penny Sewell out right tackle out there. Now, I hope Sewell doesn't get injured, because Jamarco Jones has just hit the IR. He's been on IR, just hit it, but he's out there too as well. So, going to be a little bit of backup issues there. Then you go to, I want to keep on staying on the offensive side of the ball, of course. Then you look at the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are loaded as well. You can pick your poison, who you want to stick here. Lamar Jackson, all-world, 4.3 speed. You can contain Derrick Henry, but can you contain Lamar Jackson? I don't think anybody can stay up with them. It's, to me, you have to put the fastest guy on the field, and you have to have, an Olympic sprinter to cover Lamar Jackson as a spy. A lot of teams try to do it. A lot of teams can't do it. I don't think he's been held in check, since he's been in the league, basically. But, of course, you have Lamar Jackson backup, going to be Cooper Rush. I don't think Cooper Rush gets in there at all. Derrick Henry, of course, man. We know what he is. King James, King James. I can't stand LeBron. I don't know why I said LeBron James there. Derrick Henry, King Henry, he's one of the biggest assets, free agent pickup 2 years ago. We know what he's going to do. Of course, then you got Justice Hill as well in the backfield as well. Zay Flowers is Lamar Jackson's number 1 target. Zay Flowers is averaging over 85 yards a game so far. A lot of people said that Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball downfield. You give the guy time, and you give the guy time in the pocket, he can make any throw right now. He's looking a lot better. I've always heard, even when he said it before, he's the best running back playing quarterback on the field in the NFL. Well, he's throwing the ball a little bit, a lot better now. He's making the right reads. Sometimes he puts a little bit too much mustard on a ball where it should be a lob, and he's trying to throw that ball. You guys watched the game like Joe Milton last night. He's throwing a dart like 99 miles an hour when the guy's running a slant route, 5 yards away from you. So that's the only thing I can see with Lamar Jackson. Maybe a little bit lighter touch, as a poise passer, just to get the touch on the ball, a little bit air underneath it. Zay Flowers, man, it's like I said, he's the number 1 target. Rashad Bateman, he's the unsung guy to me. I mean, he's not being looked at as a lot. I think he had 3 catches last week and 4 against the Bills the first week, but they had to air it out week 1. So, and DeAndre Hopkins, we know he's, the older veteran player on this team. He made some big catches last week as well. I think he gets a lot of balls this week, because I think they're going to try to roll coverage also. It's going to be a man-on-man defense, I think, with the Lions tonight. I feel that they have to put the extra guy in the box against Derrick Henry as well as Lamar Jackson as well. So I think it's going to be like a single high safety on one side, and I believe they're going to roll that to Zay Flowers' side tonight, to keep that coverage away from him and either make DeAndre Hopkins beat you or a Rashad Bateman. Then you go to the backups there. Tylan Wallace is a flyer. Does Devontae Walker flyer? Levante Webster's a flyer. These guys are speed. If they go to a 4 wide receiver set, those backups, and even Zay Flowers can get behind you. Bateman can get behind you. Hopkins isn't that flyer that can get behind you anymore. Younger years, yes, not now, but you've got 3 backups that can take the top off of any roof, wherever you're playing. And down at MTT Stadium, there is no roof, so the roof's already off with this team. Then you go to Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is going to be, playing tonight. We know him, the drop ball last year that could have took him to the promised land. You don't see Mark Andrews do that. I don't know if Mark Andrews has lost a step for me. I really don't. He's still one of the best tight ends, arguably in my eyes. So I feel that he's going to have a good game tonight because, like I said, they're going to have that extra guy in the box on Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. So I feel that the wide receivers could get into play, which probably is going to be Rashad Bateman, or it could be a Mark Andrews getting out in press coverage. I feel that the linebacker is going to kind of press, and I feel Mark Andrews can get behind that second level, that 10 to 15-yard range. I feel he's going to be wide open there. He's more tonight going to be a security blanket, probably on third down, when it's going to be a check blitz, an all-out safety blitz or anything like that, a blitz off the outside. I think that acknowledgement with Andrews and that the chemistry there is going to help him out, on third downs to be that safety valve there as well. Now, the only thing is Isaiah Likely is out tonight. Charlie Kohler, another good tight end, backup tight end, he'll be playing too as well. Patrick Ricard, the fullback, will be out tonight. With this team here, you really don't need the fullback. You can just throw someone. Your fullback is not going to be bigger than Derrick Henry, so it's not really going to make a matter of a deal here. I can still see, Henry going in 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, still punching 2 or 3 yards out of a run there. Their offensive line is stout as well. Ronnie Staley, we know him. He's a great asset on left tackle. Andrew Voorhees, left guard. Tyler Limbaum, I love this kid. I wanted to draft him with my Cowboys years ago. Great offensive line center there. Daniel Faliha, he's going to be starting tonight, and Roger Rosengarten. Solid offensive line here all the way through from right to left, left to right, whatever you want to call it. But the only backup issue tonight is Emory Jones from LSU. He's out tonight at right guard, and also you have Carson Vinson out as well. So the right side doesn't have the depth that you look at. Look at these offensive here. They are high-powered, both sides of the ball. I feel that this game, we always say, two high-powered offenses, who's going to outscore each other, which one? Both teams have come off, huge games. Week 1, the Lions 27-13 lost to the Packers. And then after that, they put up 52-21 on the Chicago Bears. Their former offensive coordinator there, Ben Johnson. But, I think that was a factor as well. Don't take your, foot off the gas here because we want to make a statement to Ben Johnson. But then you look at the Ravens, week 1, man, what a hell of a game on that opening night there. Buffalo Bills 40, Ravens 40. What a game. No defense was really played. Offense on both sides of the ball. Who scores last wins the game. Then you go last week. The Browns, man, they just shocked the Packers. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird that the Ravens beat who the Lions lost to. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a weird schedule the way you look at this here. But last week, the Ravens 41-17 over the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I know it's week 2 a little bit different. You're still progressing each week, but that just shows you how the league is just so weird from week to week. You blow out one team, next week that team you blow out comes back to beat a team that you played and it looks a lot better. In regards to like the Packers, Detroit loses to the Packers. It's kind of weird. The Browns. It's just weird in division play, but it is what it is. But last week, you can see that the Ravens can score, man. 40 points first week, 42 points the second week. We know they can score. Defense, yeah, they gave up 40 the very first week, but they gave up 17 to the Browns. The Browns aren't really a hybrid scoring team, so you really can't, reflect yourself on that anyway. But here's the thing, man. Offense side of the ball, we know they're both loaded. So I do want to go over to the defense side of the ball. I want to go to the defensive side of the ball for the Lions here. Aiden Hutchinson, welcome back. He's playing great right now. Also, you have Tyleek Williams at left defensive tackle. DJ Reader's playing really great as well. Kwadin Mahad at right defensive end. They do play a 4-3. Wide linebacker. I love Alex Anzalone, man. I really love this kid, how he plays there. I do want to get some of the comments real quick before we forget here. Eddie says this isn't going to be a defensive game. I kind of agree. I think Detroit has a better kicker when it comes down to a field goal. We will get to special teams, man, because that's something key this week was how many blocked field goals and extra points did you see this week? That's the crazy thing. The Browns defense beat the Packers. I agree 100%. The Browns defense didn't do too badly. I meant the Browns offense. No, they didn't, but they still have a lot to figure out. They don't have the high-powered offense that, is going to win you games when your defense can hold you to, 13 to 17 points. The offense doesn't look like it can put up the 24 points, Eddie. I take Hutchinson's over Joseph on any defensive player. I get that, too. Hutchinson, the way he's playing right now, coming off his injury, I think he's one of the best players at his side, left defensive end there. A staple point. Huge guy. But I love Anzalone, Jack Campbell, and Derek Barnes. They're linebackers. I love how they run this 4-3. The linebackers can get on you. Anzalone is just that guy that, to me, he looks like a hockey player. He goes out there, he does his job. He's not afraid to hit somebody, take the hit, give the hit, take the hit, whatever it does. He puts his life on the line for this team. I love him. Also, their corners. Terrion Arnold, I like how he plays too. He's a big hitter. He's a ball hawk, and he doesn't take a lot of chances out there. Excuse me. DJ Reed as well. DJ Reed is a little bit smaller corner, but he can stick you, man. I mean, you ask him what color, what flavor gum the guy had, who he's sticking, he can tell you right after the play. The guy sticks you like glue. And then also the thing is, you have great corners, good corners, great corners. These two are not elite. Terrion Arnold's on his way up there. He should be, moving up the quarterback ladder as well in elite status pretty soon. But the one thing is, with the Baltimore Ravens, you have some people behind you that you don't need to. You can take a couple chances if you need to. You look at safeties, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. These guys, they'll have your back no matter what. You get burnt one way, you make a misread. Branch and Kirby Joseph are going to have your back no matter what. This is why that defense front seven can fly. This is why they run a lot of safety blitzes on the outside. This team has the acknowledgement for their back end to compensate. Hey, I got you, no problem. You got this guy. You misread him. He gets past you. I'm going to roll my safety side to him. Then also on DJ's Reed side as well. The nickelback, Amik Robinson is going to be playing their backup as Avonte Maddox. Avonte Maddox coming from the Eagles, a journeyman there. He knows how to play the game as well. The only one that's going to be out now at safety, Brian Branch, does not really have a solid backup. Thomas Harper will be out as well tonight. But the defense side of the ball for the Ravens is just a standout. The Lions there. I like how this team plays. But then you go to the Baltimore Ravens D side of the ball, man. I was like salivating over the Lions defense side of the ball. They can play a solid defense there. They live up to what their coach is, Dan Campbell. They just fill the role of what he is. Now, you look at the Ravens here. Of course, they are -2 players tonight. Mika Buke will be out on their 3. They run a 3-4. Their starting defensive end will be out tonight. Nose tackle is going to be Travis Jones, and stepping in from Buke is going to be Anetas Peoples tonight. Broderick Washington Jr. will be the outside right side defensive end on that 3 spot there. Linebackers. This is where I love their linebackers. I really do. -1 tonight. Roquan Smith. I do a lot of betting, and I took this kid. I think I took him over 6.5 tackles tonight. I think this guy's going to be all over the field. Roquan Smith is exactly what when they lost Patrick Queen. Roquan Smith is that dude. He is arguably one of the best linebackers in the game, coverage-wise, run stopping, pass protection. He's just that kind of guy. He'll find you. He finds the ball. His eyes just are on the ball no matter what. He doesn't get caught, in an assignment, out of lane, out of if he's in a zone coverage, he stays in that zone and he knows how to pick up and pass off. Also, Teddy Buchanan, I like him. He's one of the big upcomers. I like how he sits right next to Roquan Smith and learns from one of the best. This is where it hurts tonight. Kyle Van Noy is going to be out. Coach's decision. They said he could play tonight, but he is going to be inactive tonight. Coach's decision from Harbaugh tonight, which was kind of surprising, when you're going against a team like the Detroit Lions, who has weapons, from tight end, running backs, both running backs, quarterback can get the ball downfield, high IQ, wide receivers everywhere. So it's a little bit kind of concerning that they did keep him out. The Ravens DBs are pretty weak. I kind of disagree with that one. We're going to get to them right now. But listen, you played one team, week 1, you got burned, but it's week 1 preseason, in the NFL. To me, week 1, you gave up 41 points to the Buffalo Bills in an all-out shootout. But no defense was really stopping anybody there. Then next week, I know they played the Browns. They only put up 17 on the Ravens, but I don't think they're weak. I think they're really solid with what they have in the back end. They could get better too. Like I said, Kyle Van Noy is going to be out. Mike Green, this is where it gets interesting. I can't wait to see Mike Green play tonight. I wanted Mike Green as a draft pick. He fell with the issues that he had at Marshall coming out of the draft there. So I'm curious to see how he's going to play. He gets his time tonight, as a strong linebacker. So I'm curious to see how he plays. I know he has the talent, the motor, so I want to see how he plays tonight. Also, the corners, you look at the corners here. Nate Wiggins We know what he is. Good draft pick coming in. He's solid. And then you have this. Now, I do agree with Eddie that if there's a weak point here, it is going to be Chuma Awuzie. That he's coming from Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears. He's playing a journeyman in the league. He is the weakest link, but I don't want to call him weak because what's behind you, what makes you stronger. Just like I said with Brian Branch being in the back end for the Lions, it gets even better for the Ravens. The Ravens are solid. They went out and got this guy called Malachi Starks out of Georgia last year. High flyer, ball hawk. I mean, last week, I don't know who he laid out. I wasn't watching it live. I went back and watched this hit, and my bones like, holy shit, I felt that hit that Malachi Starks put on him. He knows how to hit. He's a ball hawk, and he reads defenses. He is going to be their strong safety. And then all-world Kyle Hamilton. Now, you guys know I'm a Notre Dame fan. Every Saturday I do a Notre Dame show, pre and post game. One of my favorite players, man, Benjamin Morrison was picked up this year, another guy, but Kyle Hamilton, man. Kyle Hamilton, congratulations on that big, lucrative contract he just got. Well deserved. This guy can play both strong safety, free safety position. He can drop into linebacker to cover someone there. He can play corner. This guy is all world. And that's what makes the Ravens better on defense. When you have, a Nate Wiggins and a Chidobe Awuzie playing corner, you don't have to be elite. When you have elite safeties in Kyle Hamilton and an upcoming star like Malachi Starks, they are poised for the future. I mean, Baltimore just gets better on defense every year. They really do. Their nickelback is going to be Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey's no slouch as well. Now, they do have Jair Alexander. That's one I just came across. I did see that. I wrote it down earlier. I wanted to make sure he was out. Another corner that's going to be out. He would be pressing over Chuma. But that's what I mean. That's Chuma's going to have to step up tonight. But Jair Alexander is going to be out tonight. I'm kind of concerned with that one too. I think that Chuma might be picked on a lot. I think they're going to keep Kyle Hamilton on the right side over Chuma because if you're going to have St. Brown out there, you're going to have some high flyers out there. You have to roll the safety coverage to that side, and that's where I think Eddie's saying we're pretty weak. Chuma is the weakest link on the defensive side of the ball. So I do think they compensate either putting Malachi Starks, but I do feel they put Kyle Hamilton on that side. I think they're going to run a too high safety, and I think they're going to roll the coverage over to Chuma's side. Wherever Chuma's at, it depends who is going to, be on him on the opposite side of the ball. If it's St. Brown, I'm definitely going to roll Kyle Hamilton down to that position there to compensate that, safety quarter zone with them there. The kicking game here. As Eddie said, kicking, they have the better kicker there. You look like Tyler Loop, man. Tyler Loop is just that guy, unknown guy coming out here. You lose the legend before. But, man, Baltimore Ravens kicker is not a joke, man. Tyler Loop, I love watching this kid. I didn't watch him in college play a lot, but he's a nice kicker. And also then you have Jack Bates as the place kicker for the Lions. Two good kickers. I put my money on them to make a great kick. But as we've seen this week, man, special teams comes into play. How many block kicks did we see? The Rams, all they had to do was just kick the field goal to win the game. That's all you got to do. You had one point, blocked earlier in the game, and then you come back game when you drive all the way down the field, you're ready to kick, you place the ball at the hash where you want it. It's a straight kick, and then you get a big son of a bitch like Jordan Davis puts his hands up and blocks the kick. So special teams could come into play there. But, my thing is with this game here, I don't have any skin in this game here. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I hate to say that. I'm a Dallas fan, and we just got rocked by the Chicago Bears. That Caleb Williams looked like a freaking all-pro quarterback, and our defense has more holes than a deli slice of Swiss cheese. But I have no skin in this game, but I am going to give you my prediction. I'm already wearing it. This guy right here, man. I collect jerseys. This is one of my favorite players all time. Mr. Ray Lewis here. I'm going Baltimore Ravens tonight. Now, the line is Ravens. I believe it's 1.5 last I looked. I am going to take the Baltimore Ravens to cover that line. I think this is going to be – you look at this side of the ball. You look at the offense side of the ball versus the Ravens defense. I don't think there is an advantage. I really don't. I'll give the Lions an advantage because you're losing Kyle Van Noy, Jair Alexander. I will give you that. But that secondary can compensate, man. They have the two strongest free safety and safeties there. Kyle Van Noy has a huge misadvantage there being out. But Baltimore can give up points, but they can score as well. And that takes me over to the offensive side of the ball for the Ravens, also to the defense side of the ball for the Lions. Ravens can score. How do you beat the Ravens? You take away Zay Flowers and you make DeAndre Hopkins. You make them beat you. Take away Derrick Henry. But then you got to suffice for Lamar Jackson get out of the pocket. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. Two great defenses, but I feel that the advantage to me is that quarterback that can make something happen. I feel it. So tonight, Eddie's giving his prediction here. He's got it kind of close like what I'm going to say, but I think I have a little bit flipped tonight. 41-37 Baltimore. Now he's looking, like a Baltimore Ravens Buffalo Bills game here. I'm kind of near you, Eddie. I'm kind of near you on this one, man. I'm actually going to go Ravens at home, getting the win, moving to 2-1. 37, Lions 33. I think it's going to be a high-flying game. You're right. He doesn't scare anyone anymore. But the thing is, Eddie, if they're going to roll coverage over to Zay Flowers, you take him away. You put an extra guy in the box for Henry. And then also that guy has actually a safety has to come down, and he might have his eyes on Lamar Jackson. You have to keep coverage eyes on both these guys. If you can get a Mark Andrews beyond the second stick there, 10 to 15, that's where Hopkins can come into play too. You run Andrews as a safety valve on a crossing route, and then you run Hopkins on a drag route, a 15-yard drag route, not taking him deep because you don't want, in the ageless guy to run 9 routes and go routes all night long because he's going to be on the bench the next play. So you run him on crossers 10 to 15 yards where he can still say, with a lot of energy for the next play. I don't think he will be running long routes. I feel that he is going to be the second level guy between 10 and 15 yards. That's where I feel he'll be okay. But I do like the Ravens. Like I said, I'm going to go 37. Man, I feel it comes down to the fourth quarter who has the ball last, and I think it's going to be a field goal game here. So with that being said, I got the Ravens 34, and I got the Detroit Lions at 35. I feel this is going to be a high-scoring game. I did play a couple parlays tonight. I think I took Lamar Jackson, 1 touchdown on the ground, 1 in the air. I have Henry for a touchdown. I have Gibbs for a touchdown. Goff, I think, throws 2. The other one I have is Henry. I don't think he has the biggest game tonight. I really don't. I have him at about 75 yards, I believe. Gibbs, I have in the air and on the ground over 100 tonight because he is that back out of the backfield that can, like I said, when you run a wheel route with him or any kind of crossing route or a drag, that's something that can take you to the house anytime. But I do feel the Ravens win this game. I am going to go the -2, which probably give me a push, actually. But I think I took it at -1.5. That 2-point swing, anything under 2, I'll take the team that I believe in. A 3-point is that field goal, which could be lead to a push. So I did take the Ravens -1.5, but I did take the over. I think the over was set at 55 points, I believe, last I looked. So with me being said, I'm going to be pushing 70 points. Eddie's at 78 points, and I'm right around that 70 hovering mark. So, guys, that's my prediction tonight. I have the Ravens winning this game very close, 37-35. I'm not going to be doing the post-game show tonight. I have to get up tomorrow morning at 4:30 in the morning, so I won't be doing that. I will be watching the game. Make sure you follow Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We have a lot of great shows, of course. Earlier tonight, we had a Sully Squad, of course, talking all Philadelphia sports. If you're an Eagles fan, Flyers fan, Sixers, Phillies, who else? Flyers, coming in the season coming up. Make sure you check out now. We got something for everybody. We got the Raiders. We have tomorrow night. We have the NFC East War Room, guys. If you're a fan of football, this show right here, I'm telling you, this is amazing show. I mean, you talk about 4 guys getting together, 4 hosts, one show, one. Oh, it's insane. I mean, I don't even know if I want to do it tomorrow because of the fact that I'm going to get ridiculed. But it is what it is. That's what we do. Also, if you like college football, Eddie and I have a show every Friday night. Last week, I couldn't do it. I had huge ordeal, so I had to take care of something. My girlfriend got hurt, twisted her ankle again. So we were there in the hospital for a while. But this Friday night, 7 p.m., also Golden Dome podcast every Saturday, 11 a.m. and 30 minutes after each game. check that out as well. And I said the Sully Squad, Thursdays, Dan and I do a football show every week. This one here, every Thursday, 6 p.m., we go over every game in the NFL, talking that as well. This is just an outlook of our schedule, guys. It changes every week due to, all of our hosts. We understand that everybody has family. If they can't do the show, that's not a big deal. Family first with our network. Also, we have the Bat Cave here with Ken Fry. He does the New York Mets show. He has the Raiders. He has everything. He even has, the damn, what the hell is that called? The damn Silver and Black Kings edition too. My man's everywhere. So guys, if you like what you see, make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and follow us. Tell a friend, share it out there. If you like something you see, give a heart, tell a friend out there. If you don't like it, let us know. If you want to see us do something else, let us know as well. And if you also want to be a host on one of the shows out there, reach out to us, as we have the banner right here. If you want to start your own show in regards to sports or entertainment, reach out to one of us on social media. Let's make it happen. My name is Paul Spencer 215 at iCloud. Email me. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Also, guys, help my guy Ken Fry out, the host of the Batcave and Silver and Black. If you want an energy drink that doesn't give you the shakes and the jitters, try this out. www.doobie.gg discount. Use the Batcave promo. Special content there for you. Helps Ken out as well. Great host there. He drinks it. He loves it. I haven't had it yet. I'm willing to try. I've never had a sports drink in my life. I don't drink that stuff. But Ken was telling me, it doesn't give you jitters. And you guys know me. I'm wild as hell. I'm wired anyway. So if I try something with makes me crazy, I might be like climbing on the roofs, and I have to have a revolving camera trying to find me. But I believe in it. So try it out as well. And last but not least, guys, here's our new Twitter handle. We had over 35,000 followers on Twitter. We got hacked about 3 or 4 months ago, so we're trying to build that up. Couldn't use Out of the Box Sports Entertainment anymore, so this is it, at Box Sports ENT. So make sure you subscribe there too. All right, guys, my name is Paul Spencer. I'm going to get the heck out of here and enjoy this game in about 6 minutes. Like I said, Ravens win this game 37-35. You heard it here first. If I'm wrong, make sure Thursday night I'll be back with the Thursday night game. That's going to be a great game, huh? Well, at least we got a good game tonight. But enjoy the game tonight. Until then, everybody, I'll see you. Have a great night. Enjoy.
Game on, game strong, let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time.